Here we go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Merge Feast. I'm Blake. Welcome back, Logan and Brandon.
What's up?
Welcome back, Blake.
Thank you. Well, we've been teasing it for a while, but I think this week I want to talk about kind of our afterthoughts of season 48 now that all the dust has settled. And I'm, at least for me, I'm sure I'm going to have some recency bias, but I am really curious to hear what you guys think and kind of compare it to the last couple seasons. So 45, 46, 47, where do you think it lands? And, what do you think of this season now that the dust has settled?
All right. So I have obviously been thinking about this for a little bit. And as we're watching it, Survivor 48, it was a lot of, come on, do something, a lot of passive gameplay, not much excitement from a week-to-week standpoint. And having said all that, I ended up being very satisfied with the winner. I think Kyle is a great representative for Survivor 48. I think as far as players that we kind of gravitated to early on in the show, early on in the season, Kyle and Camilla's gameplay, I feel like, I don't want to say we were the only ones that were kind of championing them, but I felt like we were on that train pretty early. Mm-hmm. And to be able to kind of see Kyle make it through, I would have been happy with Camilla winning as well, but to be able to see one of the two of them come out and win the season that was otherwise to me not all that memorable, satisfying for me. I would say it's one of the seasons, and I'll probably a year from now maybe go back and rewatch it, and I think it might be a season that I would appreciate more, kind of knowing what's going to happen, rather than feeling like Joe or Eva was going to win, and that to me wouldn't have been great. Now, as far as where does it rank in the new era for me, it's towards the bottom. It's
in what aspect? Because I feel like you could talk about certain aspects and feel that way, and others be not towards the bottom for me.
So all right, gameplay.
Okay.
Gameplay is the reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love this cast. I think this is one of the most likable casts that they have had in the new era. I don't think there was a single player this season that was like, please leave. We've had players in prior seasons that were just annoying for 4 or 5 episodes. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed every player this season. My issue was the lack of gameplay, the lack of strategy, or the feeling of lack of strategy. The passiveness, I think, is kind of the word for me, is just passive gameplay. And when the new era, like in season 41, was kind of, this game is a monster, and it's harder, it's faster, and you have to earn everything. This season in particular, for me, it just felt slow. It actually, in my opinion, this is the first season that having 90-minute episodes probably hurt the season more than it helped it. But love the cast. The gameplay pushes it down the list for me, though.
Yeah.
So that's my opening remarks.
And I'm completely with you on all of that. I think I like this season more than I thought I would at the very end. And I think a lot of it has to do with the cast. Some of why I think it feels or felt slow, I think, was because of how crazy and exciting season 47 was. And there were really high highs and really low lows. Like, there were there were a couple people, Rome, that like I just can't stand you. You're not like good TV, like entertaining, but just I just don't like you. And I never felt like that with this cast. Now, I'm 100% with you. Gameplay, pretty lackluster. But as far as likable cast and memorable season, I really enjoyed it. And I think I enjoyed it because it is so different from what we have seen. But I don't know how much of it was actually slow and how much of it was left over from season 47. And as crazy as that season was, it's probably a little bit of both. But I do think, as of right now, I like this season a heck of a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. As I kind of thought about the season over the past couple weeks, it's one of those that yes, it was quite a bit different, and the gameplay definitely wasn't at the level of what we've seen in the new era. But taking a step back and trying just to look at the season as a whole, and yes, it was different. So just trying to appreciate that. Absolutely, I think it's towards the bottom to middle for me for the new era. I wouldn't say it's one of the worst because I think we've had some other seasons that getting down with the one tribe where they only have three left and just some of those issues. But I wish there was some more, like you said, not laziness or complacency on making moves, but having some more action there. But taking a step back, I actually enjoyed the season a little bit more than I actually thought I did throughout the entire season. But it's definitely different from what we've seen in the new era, but a positive. I think it's nice to have that change from time to time.
Yeah, I think you said something that stuck out, and you appreciate this season. And I think as time goes on for me, I will probably appreciate this season for what it was. Because I do, just looking at, just to compare it to a season, we compared it a few weeks back, but comparing the passiveness in 48 to the passiveness in Redemption Island, I think Redemption Island's a pretty lackluster season, even though it's Boston Rob's win, and I'm a huge Boston Rob fan. I just recently rewatched that season, and I actually appreciate it a lot more for what it is. So I think with time and with an inevitable rewatch, I'll look at it in a better light. Just being able to know the outcome and really watch Kyle's game, really watch Camilla's game, and then some of those other players, seeing how they navigated some things that we already saw happen.
Yeah.
And that's I think the biggest thing for me was the way I guess alliances and groups were formed. Obviously the strong guys kind of grouped, and we haven't really seen that a ton. So just difference there, and then Kyle and Camilla's just kind of sneakiness and being able to keep that completely under the radar the entire season was just fun to watch. Yeah, I mean those two things were the kind of the biggest difference of why I was trying to look at it in a different light and appreciate it in a way.
The other thing that I really liked about this season, and not just this season, but kind of the progression that we've seen over the last couple seasons, has been how Jeff has interacted with the tribes and just the castaways in general. And we've said this so many times, but it just seems like Jeff loves the game more now than he ever has. And I saw a clip of him talking about season 50, and said that they were officially filming. They had just done the initial challenge, and he was like, every single person is here to play, and like nobody wants to be passive. Like he was like, it feels different, and he seemed like so pumped about everything. And I don't know, you just get the sense that like Jeff is in this place where I'm doing everything I want to do, and I love it more now than I ever have. And that, to me, that progression makes me like every season. It's like, feels like a little bit more. Because, I mean, how many times have we said some shows, there's a host, but they could get away with anybody, and the host
Yeah.
doesn't make the show.
Yeah,
And this
The
is-
Bachelor.
Yeah, The Bachelor. I don't know why I'm thinking about Deal or No Deal Island. Like
Oh yeah,
they could get away with anybody for that host, and you take Jeff away. Survivor may still survive. Hey, pun not intended, but
nice.
but it would just feel different. And Jeff is such a part of that show, and I don't know, it just makes me so happy and excited to watch it every single season. So
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed the progression there.
No, it's been fun to watch for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I think when you're 50 seasons in, and you've been there since day one, not getting any younger, you just got to go in and enjoy it. And I know that the fans, Survivor fans, are so split on Jeff Probst, but
Which is so crazy.
I don't get it.
It's so it's so weird because even with like the Survivor 50 cast, it's like, oh, it's a bunch of players that Jeff likes. Like, I mean, probably, but it's also a bunch of players that are a huge part of Survivor history.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm not going to say that he's immune to criticism, because there's been things that he's done even in the new era that are him in production. I don't want to put it all on him, but that are like, what on earth are we doing?
Yeah.
Just thinking of like the hourglass twist in season 41 and 42, in the do or die twist that Deshaun had in 41, where it was like, hey, he goes into tribal council with this box and he has three cards to pick, and two of them are safe, and if he picks the other one, he's just out. Like, he doesn't even get voted out, he's just out of the game.
Yeah.
Like, who thought that was a good idea? In that
What a-
hourglass twist where you have the Mergatory episode, and it's 13 players left, 6, and you split them into 2 teams. There's one player that doesn't get put on a team, and they get sent to exile, and they have an opportunity to reverse time, and like the team that won and earned the merge and is safe at Tribal Council is no longer safe at Tribal Council, and the team that lost is safe. Like, one of the worst twists.
It was awful. Didn't make any sense, and it just threw the game. Like, it just threw it off.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it set Erica's game in motion for her to win, but for the most part, like, they hit on twists and advantages. But
and realistically, if the game was the exact same as season 1 through 10, I don't think we would have Survivor any longer.
it wouldn't exist.
Like, and so everybody wants to go back to the old school, and I think it's just the feeling of nostalgia. But I mean, there's going to be misses, and I think that is what has propelled the game forward, is trying new things. Let's figure out what works,
Yep.
what doesn't, and then we see them remove that the next season, or okay, we're going to try it for 2 seasons. Okay, now we'll mix it up and do something different. But I mean, the Beware advantage and some of the twists they've done there, like, those have been hits, and not everything with those, but I don't know.
My favorite
way
one
that-
is still the first version that they did of it, where they all had to say a phrase at the challenge.
Yeah.
I like that one. And then when Sue got caught red-handed, literally,
Paint.
like,
Yeah.
that was awesome too.
Yep.
And I don't know, that progression of the game is what keeps me coming back. So
I mean, and I definitely get the sense of people not wanting the change or going back to the old school, because I'll be the first to say I hate change in general. Like, just everyday life, I hate change. But in a game, like you said, if it was to continue from what it was in season 1 through 10, it wouldn't be here. Something had to change to keep interest. And yeah, try things, remove it, whatever the case may be. But if it's the same thing, it's going to get old and people are going to lose interest.
Yeah, and I feel like people, I think it's just cool to kind of crap on the new era, and I feel like I don't want to say I'm like the new era's biggest defender, but I feel like I like the new era.
Yeah.
I do understand if you want 39 days over 26. I get that. I'd rather have 39 days. I think 26 doesn't give the game some time to breathe sometimes. Like maybe they could, I don't think they're ever going to go back to 39, but even if they were like, let's do 32 days, kind of meet in the middle. But I like the new era. I like what they're doing. Adding the 90 minutes for the most part has been a hit. I think, like I said, it has maybe didn't help this season because it kind of exposed just the nature of the season anyway. But just getting 90-minute episodes and getting to know pre-merge players that I would have otherwise completely forgotten that they existed. And just silly like montages where they're playing the like the 80s music with Jake and Bruce and Drew and all that in season 45.
Yeah, or when Charlie and Ben were going back and forth with Metallica and Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other thing that, not that this has anything to do with season 48, but the other thing that has really impressed me about the show is I remember the first, I don't even know, however many seasons where they were always going to a new location, and that was part of the draw on like, oh man, they're going to Australia. Like, this is cool. The fact that they've been able to stay in Fiji for so long and focus on the gameplay rather than the destination and keep people interested in coming back is crazy impressive to me. Because that was part of the draw initially was, oh man, they're going to Africa. Like, what's this like? They're going here, they're going there. And
I would love for him to go other places. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I get the logistics and just the setup. Obviously, they have everything there, so moving it, like it doesn't make sense to do that now. I would totally be open for him to do it. I think it'd be awesome.
If they're going to stay in Fiji, which obviously they are at this point, they've been there for, 15 seasons now?
yeah.
I think they need to lean into themes a little bit more, going back to having Redemption Island, Blood versus Water,
Brain
Millennials versus
Brawn.
Gen X, Brain versus Brawn, yeah, and doing that to kind of break up they're at the same beach that they've been at for 7.5 years or whatever. So that math isn't correct. So, but yeah, I mean, I would love for them to go on new location, but I know logistics and cost. They want to stay there.
And I say all that. I'm not saying I'm, petitioning for them to stay in Fiji forever, but the fact that they've had the same core audience stick around no matter what the location is been cool to see.
Well, I think Africa might be my all-time favorite season. It has my favorite winner. It has my favorite winner, I'll tell you that. But I love Gabon. I know Gabon's a mess, but Gabon's a great season just because of the location. So I do think sometimes location really makes it. Like Survivor China was pretty awesome.
Wasn't Africa the longest season? Wasn't it like or which one was 40?
That was Australia. Australia was 42 days.
Africa was particularly crazy because of like being out in that circle that they lived in and having the tigers and the lions. You could hear them.
Yeah.
Somebody always had to be on watch. Like, oh man, I couldn't imagine.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great season. But yeah, all in all, Survivor 48, like, just to kind of tie it all up, I think overall a good season. I think we've said it, not best of the best, not worst, right there in the middle. I think with time, I'll appreciate it more. Already I'm really happy with the winner, so I don't really need any convincing there. I know sometimes bad seasons have bad winners too, and that probably saves it a lot for me. I was really happy with the winner for sure.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, make sure you do not tune in next week because we are taking a week off. So we'll still have some shorts out and stuff like that, but and maybe some T-shirts coming along with the shorts.
I didn't have it queued up, but man,
Dang it, no. So yeah, and then we will be back. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. But feel free to email us. You know where to find us on social media, and yeah, that's all I've got. So go ahead and say goodbye, Logan.
Goodbye, Logan.